I don't remember seeing it.
The whole thing.
I feel like both. But yeah. And then
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. She got out.
Ready and you're okay.
Yeah. I didn't know nothing. We do put her back. Yeah. Sure. Thanks.
That way they.
Where did that say one?
Like this, I'm gonna leave it that way.
Oh, yeah, that's my note. You put the note in my folder that I gave back to him.
I can.
I wrote down, I wrote down the numbers, but I got it.
Got it? Are you sure?
No, we can't find it. Yeah, definitely the first part.
All right.
Yep.
Make a roll call, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
Jeannie Benjamin,
Yes.
Tom Graham,
Here.
Wendy Reeves.
Yes.
Jamie Melky.
Yes.
and Kathy Macho.
Yes.
We do have a quorum.
Just a citizen comment, anybody like to comment on anything that's not on the agenda? Identify yourself, please.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lisa Morris. I live at 7997 South Big Shore Drive in Harbor Springs, and I'm also a Harbor Electric customer out in West Traverse Township. I read in the Harbor Light, the meeting discussion about private utility using city poles for possible internet fiber. And in the very last paragraphs, let's see, Jim Reeves? No, Reeves. Wendy Reeves. He said, I'm wondering if we can't take this money and start a fund to begin burying lines. And then Kyle said, I think it's a good idea. I don't know how much we're going to get yet. But in that line of thought, me as a personal residence, Kyle, are you controlling?
Mhm.
Can you Google map 420 Westlake?
I will, I don't want to screw this up because we have a bunch of people.
So the reason I'm here and mentioning this is 420 Westlake, just past the IGA store as you're going west in town. There's a really cute little light yellow cottage with a lime green shutters and the blue porch roof. That building is going to be torn down. And I personally want to save it. So I'm working with the homeowner and J&R Builder Movers and the city, and I've already got my zoning permit from West Traverse Township, but I have to sacrifice the second floor because it doesn't fit under the electric lines. And the same thing happened last fall. I tried to save Dave Cummings' house on M119, just past 5 Mile Creek. We were going to cut it in half, move the second floor separate from the first floor, because the core of the house was decent, even though it looked horrible from the road, but the core of the house was decent. Okay, because I'm trying to get a first floor handicap accessible addition to my house. So my husband and I can age here in place, because none of our situation right now in that big house that we've got is handicap accessible. Okay. So the reason I bring this up with the, put the money towards the underground lines, if we could prioritize getting the lines that cross the street, not necessarily the lines that go down the street, okay, but just the lines that cross the street on 2 corridors, Lake Street going east-west and State Street going north-south. That would have saved that house up on 119, and it would have saved the top of this really charming little house on 420 Lake Street. I mean, the upstairs has got built-in captain's beds and little shelves under the eaves, and it's so cute, but we're gonna lose all of that. And unfortunately for me, it's gonna add to my expense because now I have to rebuild all that second floor. Okay, so if we could prioritize Lake Street and State Street as corridors where there are no overhead lines, where we can move houses as they become available, because I hate to say it, last year alone, we lost 6 houses in this area due to demolition. We lost 5 Beach, we lost 1 on Fern Avenue, we lost the Dave Cummings house, we lost 1 on 4th and Traverse. There's a lot of houses being pulled down. Okay, and I'm not sure if most of you are aware that Emmett County is going through its materials management master plan. And part of that master plan is construction and demolition. It's going to be becoming increasingly difficult to dump that stuff. So that's another reason that we should preserve these beautiful homes that we have in this area and let people like me who have a property and have a need for them can actually move them on my property through town. Because the one on 119 can't come down 119, had to go up 5 Mile Creek, Stutzmanville, State, and Lake. And so I got stopped at the city limits because the city won't take down the lines. Okay, so can't help me out on the 420 Lake Street, but I just wanted you to be aware that that's happening here in our town. And we lost 6 houses last year alone.
Lisa, have you talked to the electric department? I'm sorry
Yeah.
to jump in here, because I know they lift wires and they also drop.
Not here.
No.
No, we've been told no,
They used to do it.
so.
I'll
anyway.
talk to Dan as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me speak. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak at this time?
Hi, my name is Lat Spinney. I am currently residing at 820 Arbor. And I just wanted to introduce myself to the city council. I'm the new president of Irish Boat Shop. And I just wanted to come in and make an introduction. So
You're a little lad.
I'm a little lad. I grew up here as well, so.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Anyone else at this time like to speak? You want to make an approval on the agenda or discuss it?
I move to approve the agenda as written.
Second,
Kathy Macho,
yes.
Tom Graham.
Yep.
Jeannie Benjamin.
Yes.
Wendy Reeve
Yes.
and Jamie Melky.
Yes.
Gary.
Let's go to discussion item.
We got consent agenda, yes, Premier. Sorry. Anybody
Motion to approve the minutes.
consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
I'll second,
Jeannie Benjamin,
Yes.
Kathy Macho,
Yes.
Tom Graham.
Yep.
Jamie Melky.
yes.
Wendy Reeve.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. So move on to the discussion items. Item 5A is selection of candidates for city manager interviews. So just for the general public, we were in closed session starting at 4 o'clock today. Every candidate that we were told about requested confidentiality. So every candidate was given a number and we were given a summary, so there was no way for us to determine who these individuals were. So they all requested confidentiality, so we discussed them based on a number. And at that point, we had to choose, or the council had to choose on what numbers we were going to interview. So when you hear motion being said, whatever numbers they are, that's why their numbers is because of their confidentiality. Tonight, when the meeting's over, our recruiter was here the entire time. When the meeting's over, I will contact our recruiter, and if we agree on whatever numbers, he will contact them. And once he contacts them, they will release their confidentiality. And at that point, I will release the information by Wednesday or Thursday, that information to the council, who they are, what their experience is and all that. So just to give you an idea why we're choosing numbers tonight. So with that, we need a motion to select what candidates numbers we want to proceed for interviews. And those interviews are going to be on March 14th. It's a Saturday morning. We're going to start at 8:30 in the morning. They'll be right here. Set up as many people as we can squeeze in here. It'll be set up the same format, but it'll be March 14th, 8:30 in the morning. They'll be at 9, 10, 11, 1 and 2.
Can I give a summary of
Sure,
the
I
whole
love that.
process? Okay, so we ended up with 21 applicants for the position, and Frank Walsh, who we decided to hire, narrowed it down to the top 8 or 9 candidates based on what we had answered in a survey, what we were looking for. He gave us the numbered a binder with the numbered people. It had their work experience, their, what was the next
There was
one?
four things that they,
Education, their special
Special
skills,
yeah,
and volunteer.
asking four things that they want to say about themselves. And so that's sort of
The
what.
special skills.
Yeah.
And so based on their education and their experience, I would move that we invite candidates 1, 7, 9, 10, and 19 to interview.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, and I'll do a roll call again. Jamie Melky.
Yes.
Wendy Reeves.
Yes.
Jeannie Benjamin.
Yes.
Tom Graham.
Yes.
Kathy Macho.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And a little bit about our recruiter. I know there was some discussion. We had 10 recruiters to choose from. We narrowed down to Paul. And I feel he's done an excellent job. He was here, or excuse me, I spoke with him about every other day. And we were in dialogue all the time. And just a little hindsight, his daughter bought him a surprise vacation that was supposed to start last week and go through next week. He chose to go down to see the Detroit Tigers play, and he chose because we committed to him. He canceled that vacation, he's postponing it, and he was here today. So just a little kudos to him. So I know there was some question about his integrity or whatever it was, and to me, he proved it today by showing up in person. He was gonna do it by Zoom, and he chose to be here, so. So we'll move on to 5B. And it'll be the Parks and Recs annual report, and Danny's gonna give that.
Well, Danny's gonna start with some helpers who have come to sort of talk a little bit about parks. So Lyndon, I think you're first, right? And it's better to, I wish I should have gone first because they're gonna be way better than me.
My name is Lyndon. It's really fun for kids and others to attend park events. I look forward to them every season. I think that we should keep parks and rec events. I love both swimming and sledding, and in the
Next.
Hello, my name is Arnold. I am 9 years old. I think we should have a parks because all the kids are going to all the events. I have so much fun with my friends. My favorite event is during the fall. Sledding and s'mores during the winter, and swimming and s'mores during the summer. My favorite parks is sort of Honest Park, and I love skate park. I also am learning how to play pickleball, and I want to try the kids clinic. So I hope it will keep parks and either and apartment.
Hi, my name is Joy. I'm 11 years old. My opinion is that we should keep the parks and rec because I think that people like to come to the events. Not only kids, but older kids enjoy the fun events. I love the events. And in fall, I love Fall Fest. Most of my soccer teams come to Fall Fest. In the winter, I love sledding and s'mores. In spring, my friends and family come to the Easter egg hunt. In the summer, my friends and I go to a lot of the swimming and s'mores. I also love the skate park and the roller course. I think that's fun and cool that we have those things here in the city. My friends and I love the parks and rec and hope that it will stay. We're asking that you would please keep the events because it is important to the city. Thank you.
My name is Skylar. I'm 11 years old, and I want to keep all the parks and rec activities because I play a lot of sports. But when it ends, I have nothing to do. Then I have something fun to look forward to. Without all the parks and rec activities, I would have nothing to look forward to. This is why I want to keep all the things.
Perfectly honest. Guys, this will be way more boring. My name's Danny Rodert and I live with my family at 480 East Main Street. I'm here tonight as the chair, newly re-elected by the members of the Park Board. This evening, at your request, I'm happy to be here to report on the state of our amazing parks. As we all know, our community's parks are a piece of what makes Harbor Springs special. It's taken generations to acquire the land we now hold in trust. I'll let you know. Sorry. I should. Our parks are the very definition of common ground. They are places without fences, open to all, and for the benefit of all. Each year we come in front of you to give an update on our parks programming. This year is a bit sad because our Parks Director, Rachel Roon, has left and her talents to bring her talents to the county. We were lucky to have her, and while she has been helping out part-time this year, her time supporting Parks and Rec is coming to an end. So if you would please join me in thanking Rachel for all she did. I had a chance to see many of you at Ice Fest a few weeks ago. The Parks Board doesn't host that event, but we do serve as volunteers. Some of us helped with setup. A stalwart crew manned the hot dog grill and served over 400 hot dogs, donated by the folks at Dusty Dogs. In the tip jar, we raised $350 to give to the Harbor Springs Food Pantry at the event. Zorn Park hosted the ice sculptures and beanbag tosses, scavenger hunt, and horse carriage pickup. And Saturday night, Marina Park hosted what seemed like the whole town went to watch, a fantastic drone show. As we were standing at Marina Park that night, it struck me that no one questioned if they could be there. Everyone knew exactly where to go, that the park was theirs to gather in and enjoy. Our community has long had places that people can't be. Most of us have beached at the boat or beached our boat at the point and warned the kids that they have to stay near the water's edge in case the guys in the golf carts come and try to shoo them off of the point. But that doesn't happen at Zorn Beach. Zorn Beach belongs to everyone. Miles of our coastline are privately owned, but there are 2 little spots over off of Glen Drive, places that those before us secured as public parks. Anyone can go to either Washington Street Access, or as we like to call it, Sneaky Beach, which is technically called Glen Drive Access Beach, to watch the sunset on a summer night. Inside the city limits, I think those are the only spots you can sit and watch the sunset on the water. Our parks provide that to all. This Saturday, we finally got a sledding and s'mores event, and I passed out pictures from this weekend for you. If you haven't been to one, you're missing out. Kids of all ages, including most of these here, fly down the hill at Kiwanis Park. The guys from the fire department, including Jamie, use their snowmobiles to drag the kids back up the hill. It's sledding without all the hard work of having to walk back up the Kiwanis Hill. Hot chocolate and s'mores make for an awesome afternoon for our local kids to enjoy a great park. It's free, sponsored by private donations from the Rocking Horse, and it's a great example of how our parks are used year-round. We serve 60 hot dogs, by the way, which is generally the measure of how we figure out how many people come to an event. There were about 100 folks who joined us up the hill this weekend. This year, you'll likely put out bid documents to renovate the warming hut at Kiwanis. The renovation is much needed and completely paid for again with private donations. Before I get into what I've been called on to report here, I'd like to acknowledge that there are some who question the need for Parks Board. I'm hoping to put some of that conversation to rest by highlighting some of the extraordinary work of the board. Most of the credit should go to Dana Mulder, our former chair, along with Scotty, Dick, Maggie, Sarah, Jamie, our new board members, Melissa, Audrey, and Natalie. We have a great board that continues the tradition of excellent volunteer leadership. They have devoted hundreds of hours planning, fundraising, addressing concerns, and listening to residents in Harbor Springs. Yes, we volunteer to grill hot dogs, and we even man wiener dog races. But we do a lot in between and a lot of planning for the future. So why is it important to have a board? Well, there's a lot of work to be done, and the council may not have time to devote to accomplishing every detail. As we lose our parks director, there's an even larger hole to fill. Many hands make light work. I know between my kids' activities, my day job, church duties, and civic volunteering, I'm stretched thin. There are many with far more time and money than I have, but each of us can do something, even if we can't do everything. I know you all have full plates as well. The Parks Board is here to help. On the ball fields up the hill at Cosequat Park, our little leaguers call it teamwork. The board is another way for more residents of Harbor Springs to be involved in their government. Not all of us want to run for office, but many want to make our city better. While we have very little authority, an appointed board is not the same as a club, just like this council would not be as effective as a club. There is accountability and professionalism in the city's appointed boards and commissions. You are better off because you've entrusted others who call Harbor Springs home to help. Okay, got this, forget it. This is the right one. And that brings me to the meat of what I'd like to talk to you about today. The Parks isn't authorized to spend any money on its own. Parks Board cannot spend a dime on its own. We don't really have a budget. The cost of having a Parks Board is not borne by taxpayers. We are volunteers, and our work and our added voices cost the city nothing all on its own. You approve the money that's used to support our parks and direct staff to spend money to accomplish your goals. And we help by asking for donations that provide additional funding to support our parks. We've done a pretty good job of that over the years. You asked specifically about the Parks Board report on spending between 2021 and 2025. The next slide. Here's a list of the capital projects and their costs over the last 4 years. There's a copy of this chart in your packet. For those of you who have eyes like mine, you can't see that. And the next one. Here are the totals spent according to Nick between 2021 and 2025. I'm happy to report that between those years, 95% of all the parks building projects were paid for by private donation. Only 5% of the costs were covered by taxpayers. In the last 4 years, we've collected $1.6 million in private donations to rebuild the boardwalk, create a skate park, improve playgrounds, add amenities for our city residents. And over that same time, the city has contributed $54,745 to parks capital projects. In other words, for every dollar the city spends on parks, we have been able to get $30 in private donation. That's an excellent return on investment. My 401k was doing that well, I wouldn't have to worry about it. So now I'd like to turn to the program we're returning on. That one. So here's the programs we put together in 2025. Last year, like this year, we had 5 main events. You can see them on there and in your packet. Fall Fest, Letting S'mores, Easter Egg Hunt, Swimming in S'mores, Dino Dig, the Walking Club, Pickleball Clinics, Pickleball, the Open House, all of those are involved in our projects. We have also participated in several programs, including Ice Fest, at which we volunteered to help out, but did not host. So next one. So these are some of the ones that we volunteer at, but did not host. Go to the next. Since 2021, we estimate that over 3,000 children and adults have participated in one of our programs. That's a pretty good return on investment as well. It doesn't include the thousands who participated in the programs we partner with, but don't own or host. Each of the 5 events has a private sponsor. The result is that 30% of the money spent on adding programs to our parks was covered by donations. In 2025, we were able to provide some great programs for the residents of Harbor Springs for a little over $4,600 in taxpayer dollars. Thanks. There we go. So within our city limits, there are 127 acres of parks, recreation areas, and public green spaces typically used for recreational purposes. Of those, 47 acres are city-owned, 63 acres are owned by the Little Traverse Conservancy, and 17 acres belong to the public schools. In total, Harbor Springs has 18 city parks. Individually, many of these parks are really small, but collectively they support hundreds of thousands of dollars annually in incremental visitor event spending. Just think of the T-ball games and the T-ball kids who are in town throughout the summer. They protect millions of dollars in property value and tax base. They reduce long-term flood damage and exposure. They improve public health outcomes. They strengthen downtown retail performance. They extend seasonal tourism to the shoulder winter months. They enhance Harbor Springs' brand as a high-quality riverfront or waterfront community. Across the full park system, conserving and scaling of national economic research says that Harbor Springs parks collectively support well into 7 figures annually in combined direct, indirect, and induced economic value. And that 7 figures doesn't include long-term property appreciation and any of the avoided infrastructure problems that the parks sometimes help us solve. I'd like to wrap up with some caveats and a word about what comes next. The big caveat is tonight's discussion is of spending and capital projects and programming, and it doesn't count all that we spend on our parks. A portion of the Harbor Springs Public Works budget, which includes the hours spent plowing each winter, voting to mowing the city's public places when the grass begins to grow again, is not included. Lucas and Nate and others who make our city look well-groomed, spend hours of their day doing tasks we all take for granted. Last year after the ice storm, our public works were some of the first places that cleared out the limbs. Weeks before the chainsaw crews worked to take down hazardous limbs in private property, our city parks were made safe through the dedication of our city crews. It's a testament to some of the first places that it was safe to walk again were our shared parks. The numbers here also don't include the salary of our parks director or our city lifeguards. If you include those salaries, the ratio of tax dollars to private donations goes to about 1 to 5. Still a pretty great investment. So what's next for us? This year, the Kiwanis building project will take a huge step forward. We've worked hard to make sure you've been in the loop earlier than you may have wanted to be. But that project represents a generous $500,000 donation that's earmarked specifically for Kiwanis Park. We are also embarking on updating the parks master plan, which is required by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. To remain eligible for grants and state funding, we need to have a current master plan adopted by the city council and submitted to MDNR. Our current plan expires in 2027. The Parks Board has already begun to discuss the process and timeline that will produce a new document that reflects the people of Harbor Springs and their long-term devotion to the beautiful public spaces. This update will be entirely a volunteer effort. Unlike some of our city's committees, we don't have a professional planner assigned to the board, and no one's paying for outside help for our master plan update. The required update will be comprehensive, well done, forward-looking, and completed at no cost to the taxpayers of Harbor Springs. Finally, we'll need to adjust what comes next by way of staff by the Parks Department of Harbor Springs. We're under no illusions that we will ever be able to replace Rachel. Much of the success I've been able to share with you tonight is due to her talent and tenacity. It sounds like there's little desire by the council to fill her position with someone devoted to the city's parks and recreation needs. As staffing changes, our projects and programming will need to change as well. There is much on our plate, and it sounds like the plan is we might lose our dedicated support. So the Parks Board will need to evaluate what we can realistically continue to be delivered, always keeping in mind our responsibility to meet the needs of the community whose common grounds this city holds in trust. So I look forward to working with you as you continue to provide exceptional places for Harbor Springs to enjoy and experience. Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions with the kid?
I guess.
Nice job, guys. I cheated, I brought the kids.
I have a question.
Yes, Judy.
I think that the major donor to the parks made their last donation to, and that was the Kiwanis building. I don't think that there's money behind that anymore, so that's something you guys should look into.
That's one of our donors. That is one of our donors. It's been one of our major donors
I
of
know,
the year
but I
for
mean,
sure.
but it's the last.
Kiwanis has been the last of from that foundation. Correct. But we've since then, we've managed to raise other money.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to do
Gotcha.
that.
We good?
Yep.
Any questions? Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
All right, we'll move on to 5C, beach restrooms update and approval. So during the February 2nd meeting, council approved that we move forward with a redoing the beach restrooms. Rachel done a lot of work, has done a lot of work on this to get the bids for that. The roof and the HVAC to get the ventilation out of the roof both came in under $10,000, which authorizes me to take care of. But the plumbing and the doors both came in over $10,000, so that I'm bringing it to you. Rachel reached out to multiple plumbers to get quotes on this. Fairburn was the only one to provide us with a quote, and it was $16,080. And in reference to the doors, Access Locksmithing does 90% of our doors. They've recently done the police department, and they're very good to work with. They understand our wants and needs. And so I reached out to Jared, and he gave me 2 quotes. The one was for $16,000 some odd dollars. The other one, that was for steel doors. The other one was for $22,000 for fiberglass doors. I didn't include the 22,001 because I had a conversation with Jared. The steel doors will last 20 to 25 years if they're maintained properly. So I felt like we didn't need to spend an additional $6,000 to do fiberglass doors. So, and he agreed with that based on the fact that in 20, 25 years, we'll probably be replacing that building. But also I spoke with Jared about being able to have those doors lock and unlock on their own. So he gave me that price, which is included, which made that total price of $18,850. That includes, and the reason I brought this up, we, as a police department side, we lock and unlock those doors on a daily basis. And I want to continue to put eyes in those buildings because I don't want somebody sleeping in there all night. So we will continue to do that. I'm more concerned about opening them on a consistent basis because of the fact that, let's say we get tied up on an arrest on a summer day and that officer has to go to Petoskey and we don't unlock that door to 10 or 11 o'clock. It just, or people are out and walking. And actually, I just spoke with Mark Bidet yesterday. When we looked at the Marina building, we should also included that. So he's going to give me a quote to have those automatically unlock at 7 o'clock or whatever, so that we have that ability to make sure that they unlock. So that's what that additional $2,000 is in there, which makes that bid $18,850. So what I'm asking for, you gave approval to move forward with this project, but I don't have the authority for the plumbing or for the roof. I need your guys' permission. And as you can see, the CIP for that project was $80,000. We're at $47,671.59 currently. And that should take care of, I believe, the whole project. Rachel's done a phenomenal job of sort of piecemealing this together and getting the bids. She's worked well with the contractors, but I'm open for any questions. If not, we just need a motion to authorize me to move forward with it.
Just a quick question. So we're approving the 18,850 for the locks?
Right, for the doors, that's 3 doors, including the timer system that will allow the doors to unlock and lock.
Okay, and then the other 2 items were under 10?
Correct.
Okay,
So I can authorize those,
gotcha.
but I need your approval also for to choose Fairburn to do the plumbing for the $16,080.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Do we have a rating on the roof? How long is it gonna last?
25 years, I believe, wasn't. Thank you. 25 years. We are gonna rip off the old roof and put a new roof on. There was conversation about a steel roof. Rachel and I talked, it doesn't fit in with we talked about the last meeting. It doesn't necessarily fit in with our beachfront.
I think adding the automatic locking and unlocking doors is awesome. I have oftentimes thought of how much time it takes you guys to go and unlock and lock bathrooms at certain hours. So I think that's great to add to the marina and to this.
Good, I think I appreciate, and I want to still put eyes, I want our office,
Right.
we're not that busy. I want to make sure nobody's sleeping in there. But in the same sense, that especially the opening them up at a certain time, you walk, a lot of people walk in the morning, that way you run. That way, when you're out, at 7 o'clock, that thing's gonna, if you need to go to the bathroom, there's a bathroom.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
That bathroom's seasonal only, right?
Correct, yes. So what we'll do in the
You can't
winter is
use
we
it
just
in
take
winter.
that timer out and that will be winter only, or summer only.
Right, because the pipes won't be winterized.
Correct.
We can use it as a public restroom.
We blow it out, it's not used, basically, I think we close it down around the middle of October. And it'll probably open up the middle of May.
Do we need paint?
Paint.
The quote, we don't have anything for painting in
We have
this.
to paint the doors,
So-
we'll take care of that in-house.
Yeah, and then the masonry repair that they're not covering in the door installation,
They will cover that.
okay. Well, they said in their contract they don't.
Yeah, I talked to Jared,
Okay.
we're all set.
And then any electrical, we're gonna be doing it ourselves.
For the doors,
Well, for anything in the building.
oh, yes. And also I put in there, I've talked to Lucas, I've talked to all the guys and the water guys, Josh and John. They're really involved in it and I talked to them I go, you guys good with this? I'll sort of oversee it because I don't have that ability. I mean, I could do it time wise, but I just don't have the skill set that they have. Yeah, Rachel's.
One of the really nice things about Fairburns as well is they have met with Josh and John at the building. and Nick from Fairburn is amazing. He just came, anytime I've called, he's come down to the building, I know nothing about plumbing. And now I feel like I do. So Fairburn has been excellent. Josh and John are more than capable of overseeing the project. Lucas, very hands-on.
No, good.
I think so.
We just need a motion to, go ahead, Wendy, you have.
No, I was saying, I make a motion that we approve of the bids as they've been given and we'll, go ahead with it.
Thank you. We're,
Second.
there, we need a
Finances, yeah, Kathy Macho,
Yes.
Tom Graham.
Yes.
Wendy Reeve.
Yes.
Katie Benjamin.
Yes.
Damien Duffy.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. We'll be right at, Rachel and I'll be contacting them hopefully tomorrow or the day after, just to try to get the ball. We sort of have the sequence of events, what needs to go first, second, third, fourth. So. All set with that?
Yep.
So we'll move on to the police department annual report. Let me get there. I'll try to make this brief. I'm gonna switch hats to
Don't rush.
the police chief.
Don't rush.
Toilets and sinks and water heaters. There we go. So I provided you with our annual report. And I'm just gonna highlight some things I normally highlight every year. First of all, on the cover page, just thank, sort of advising some information reference to the annual report. And the last thing is I believe that sort of I've incorporated my 3 C's, and at the very bottom is commitment, compassion, and community oriented. It's something that we discuss at every department meeting, and the guys, they buy into this, and this is what I think is important. It makes our police department what it is. And at any time, if you feel that we fail at any of those 3 C's, I want to know about it. So that's just a cover page. That's, I believe in those my 3 C's, and the guys are doing a great job of it. On to the staffing, I'll just go through the report. We provide 24/7, 365 days a year police protection. And that's very important to me. I'll say this every year. I know in past, like maybe we don't need a police officer from 3 to 7, or, you know, once you open that door, then I feel like it exposes you for more times. We take a fair amount of calls down the hillside, a lot of medical calls between that 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. You just never know when that call is going to come in, and people expect us to respond. And the other side of that is the more we have a patrol car, I don't have a stat to how many crimes we've deterred. Like somebody drives in a town at 4 in the morning and wants to do a crime and they see a patrol car, they'll go somewhere else. They'll go to Lansing, or they'll go to the gas station up on Pleasant View. You know, there's no stat for me to say this is how many crimes we deterred. But I do feel like, and I'm a stickler on getting out and being seen, that they do that. On our staffing members and data hire, unfortunately, Josh is retiring at the end of April. It's going to be sad for our department. He's the last person that when I started here that is state of work. We do have, I feel, and I brought this up, an excellent hire in Dave Robinson. I spoke with him today. He's very excited to come here. And so there's our staffing report. We're still very young, but not super young. And we have 2 of them that are having babies in May. That's exciting. Our little daycare over there. So it's a good thing. On to the workload. In 2025, we completed 335 written reports. When I became chief in 2017, we completed 953 reports. So we reduced that almost 600 reports. My thinking on that is the less time the guys are sitting in the office doing reports, the more time they're out driving around. And so, yeah, we're using gas, but we're also being visible, or we're walking downtown, or we're attending school events. The next paragraph down is called the nature of events. And that is anytime that we do a property check, any call at all where we self-initiate, we get in the computer and we do it ourselves, or we're dispatched to something, whether it's a larceny, a medical call. That's sort of our barometer of how busy we are. And every year we've increased a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to continue to increase. And the other thing is we're going to go to a new software program coming up in 2027. So that we're not going to be able to compare apples to apples. But every year we've gone up. And when we started in 2017, we had 4,441 events by nature. This last year, we had 15,148 events. So that's where the guys are getting on their computer and they're checking a building, they're checking Kiwanis Park. They're getting dispatched to a larceny or a fraud call. It's everything, but that's how busy they are. The guys do an excellent job of staying busy. And when we're in the winter, I won't cover it up. It's quiet, but why they're quiet, they're going into the high school, they're going into middle school, they're making sure, checking doors, they're making sure there's no water leaks. I mean, we've caught I think it's at Blackbird 3 times this winter where that you could smell that natural gas when we went in there. So they got a hold of the guy because one of the pilots had gone out, so it's like that type of stuff that I really encourage. So the next page, community oriented policing. Foot patrols are priority to me, property checks are a priority. These are things that I feel we do for the community. And you can see that all 3 of those numbers continue to increase. Sooner or later, they're gonna plateau. I can't ask the guy to do a whole lot more, but they're out there working hard. They're not, we're not knock on wood that busy, but you can see progressively over the last few years, they continue to go up and the guys understand the importance of that. The next thing is our miles driven. We did decrease a little bit in that, and we talked about it at last week at the meeting. We went down to 77,945. But if you look at in 2017, we were at 43,000. So we're still putting on 30 more thousand miles a year. And to me, that's very important. It deters speeding. It hopefully eliminates some crashes and it deters crime. And we're just out there meeting people. So crime, I only highlighted, you can see the statistics. We had no reportable breaking entries. We had 1 last year. Of the last 6 years, we've had that's only 1. The other crimes have all basically remained consistent. 1 will go up, 1 will go down. There's no real highlight in there. The juvenile runaways, delinquent minors with our school resource officer, incorrigibility, those complaints have gone up just because we have somebody there and he's addressing it. If we didn't have somebody there, it wouldn't be addressed. So they go up naturally because he's there and he's taking those complaints. But going on to our school resource officer, that position's going excellent. I feel that Tyler's doing a great job up there, and Scott was here the day before he went down, and Tyler was there doing CPR because he was in the building and he grabbed the AED. And so that's the benefit of having him. And luckily enough, he was in that school, but that was a positive thing. So on the traffic, the next page, you can see the amount of citations, good or bad, is up. So some people might say that's bad, but we're out there working. And then our verbal warnings have increased as well. And the OWIs, that fluctuates a little bit. That's drunk drivers. Traffic stops in 2025, and it's not a stat. I'm going to try to get it up there next year. We had 1,005 traffic stops. In 2024, we had 910. So we increased some traffic stops. The guys are out working. We understand working in a small town is like working in a fishbowl. You have to balance that. And we've had that conversation. And I feel for the most part, they do an excellent job. They understand when to write somebody, when to give somebody a break. And if I look at all the tickets that come through us, so I see what they're doing. So going on to the crashes, I'm proud to present in 2025, we had no personal injury crashes. It was remained basically consistent with the years in the past. And I think there's a lot of traffic in town. So, to have 86 crashes, it's up, but the amount of cars, especially if you drive downtown and see how congested it is and how potentially dangerous going up on Spring Street and turning left onto 3rd Street is, or going to the Four Corners, there's a lot of potential bad areas, or this corner up here. And so I feel like 86 is a livable number. Onto parking. Our tickets were up 49 or 46. It's gonna be 56, and that's a good thing. We went to automated system in 2023. The guys have that printer, and that's how. It's just a matter of getting used to it. I hopefully anticipate that will increase again next year. And we took in $7,617 in revenue last year off those parking tickets. So just a little food for thought on that.
All that funds go to Lansing Library, does it?
No.
Where's it go?
Goes into our general fund. Non-criminal complaints. The bottom, the property checks are already highlighted. And these are just the things that make, because we don't have the criminal activity, those are important stats for me. you know, our general assistants, those are medical calls. We go on to a lot of medical calls. Hillside, I'm not just targeting Hillside, but we're down to Hillside a lot. And a lot of people depend on us down there. And we have that one stretch we had in 1 week, and I think I reported we had 9 different people that with mental illness that required assistance. And while those aren't criminal complaints, it helps our citizens. And I wrote in here, that's why we have a police department, is a variety of things. Training, the next step down, basically, the only thing is a priority. We've increased the amount of training every year, and now Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards has come out with, they require training. I've been a police officer since 1988, and for the last 3 years, they have not required training. It sounds terrible, but they basically, you could just continue to be a police officer and you didn't have to continue your education. And now the MCOs has come out and they mandate training. So we have to fulfill like 8 hours of mandatory training, 16 hours of like almost like an alternative class or something like that, like when you go to college. So it's very good. We're doing a lot of those online now, which is beneficial because it does, we signed up for a program and it costs us money for the program, but we don't have to send somebody to Lansing to put them in a hotel for a night or two. We can do them online. Plus in the winter, it's a great time. The guys, like all of them, but me basically, because I've been busy, have knocked off all those online classes already. The Marine Patrol, we had less shifts last year and a lot of it was due to our boat. Our boat was out of the water a ton last year. We had all those problems with the boat. I'm hoping next year will be better. The only positive thing is in 2025, we had no bad crashes. The previous couple of years, we had a couple bad crashes out there. We had one crash that somebody could have seriously been hurt or did get hurt, could have been a fatality. So I still feel by the presence that Dean provides out there that it deters bad drive or bad boarding. So that's all I'll highlight on that. And then accomplishments for 2025. The first thing up there, and you've heard this over and over, but we opened in the Shea shelter, and for a police department, and I've talked to all my chief's friends, you know, it's like, I felt like the guys really stepped up to the plate there. They worked a ton of hours. I don't want to give them kudos because we already got our kudos for that, but that was a huge accomplishment for our police department. We maintained the current reportable crimes. We increased our traffic a little bit. One of the CIP things was we replaced every computer in our police department, which I'm proud of. I mean, we were very outdated and I was proud of that. And then the main thing I'm proud of is we retained our current staff members. Knock on wood, besides Josh retiring, we haven't lost anybody. And there's other agencies very close to us that there is a revolving door. And with that consistency, and I know it comes at a cost of wages and benefits and stuff like that, but with that consistency, you get the same officer. They build those relationships, and to me, relationships are huge. And that's the important thing about that. I mean, I look at both Tylers, I look at Nick Strobel, I look at Spencer, I look at Dan that we just got, like those guys could go to Petoskey and make more money as a public safety officer. They might get bored here because it's sometimes boring, but they stay here and they like it here. And part of it is because of the public that they interact with, and they like to be felt like needed and wanted and loved. I guess that sounds like a corny word, but they like to be loved. So I'm just very happy that we retained most of the people that I've hired. They want to stay here. And we lost Mitchell to Traverse City and Matt went to the county, but those things will happen. But for the most part, our core employees have stayed here. So for 2026, I just want to maintain the reportable crimes. I want to continue our traffic enforcement levels. And then the last sentence there is continue to respond to all calls for service in person and foster the relationships. To me, I hear other agencies take a lot of calls on the phone, and we better be not doing that. I want our officers to go to that house and make contact with that individual. I work for a lot of good administrators, and I remember a sheriff told me down in Clinton County, we'd have a smash mailbox call. You know, you weren't going to find who was doing it, but he said, we're going to go to those calls because that might be the only call that person ever makes in their life. And I want that good impression. And that's how I feel here. We will respond in our medical calls. Like I'm adamant that we go to our medical calls. And then, so if you ever, I'll go back to my 3 C's. If you ever feel that we don't have compassion, commitment, or community oriented, you let me know. And because we'll have a chat. So that's that. I'm not a tyrant, but I have expectations. So, and the last thing is thank you all. I know our police department comes at a cost. We're way up on the budget. But I do feel that the guys understand that. They don't take anything for granted. They work hard and they just do a good job. So thank you for your support though. That's all I have.
Thanks, chief.
Time to move on.
I know that a lot of the officers are also involved in the fire department. Is that completely outside of, I think that that is, like, it shows their dedication to the community and it's really awesome that they are learning those skills as well so that they can be more helpful when they are the first on the scene to a lot of these situations. So.
Thank you. And I'll tell you, like,
that.
the thing with, like, with what happened with up at the school, like, I was talking to the guys, we've had like, and I didn't mention this, but we had a lot of saves. We've had a lot of, like, this last year, if I think about it now, down at the, post office, same thing. I mean, we had AEDs, we had officers on the scene, we had officers pounding chest. And if you're not pounding chest, those people aren't making it. And I can think of 3 in the last year that probably wouldn't still be here, and they're not old. And they wouldn't be here if it wasn't because we had a car with an AED and that officer were there within a minute or two. So, sorry.
No, I think that, I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that they are going above and beyond and they really are dedicated.
Yeah, Strobel, I'll give you an example. Strobel, he's a 29-year-old kid. If he works midnight, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., he's at work at like 4:30, 4:45. And then when I come in the morning, he'll stay till 6:30 in the morning. He works 6 to 6 and he'll be there he'll get there an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes ahead of time. You don't see that. He's got 2 kids at home. I mean, it's amazing. So like, these guys are dedicated. I'm proud of them. So, all right. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah.
You guys good? Yeah.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Dana Mulder, 372 West Summit, and I have a question, I don't know if it's for Kyle or more for council, but has there ever been any thought about charging for home checks? I know there are like 5,500 of them. And that's a lot, and it serves just one portion of the population, like, would that be a way to?
Those property checks, we do home checks, like the winter home checks. We have a schedule. Of those 55, I would say we're lucky to have 500 be those property checks. The majority of those property checks are us going to Kiwanis or us checking the bathrooms.
Okay.
That's what they are.
Okay,
I wouldn't.
not private homes.
Correct. And even then I would hesitate in doing that because they can, if they want to hire somebody, a lot of them have the caretakers and that's why they're paying taxes. That's my opinion. Like if we charge them to do them, that's why we're paying, that's why they're paying taxes. But I don't, the council feels different. I'm always. Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak at this time?
All right, we'll move on to 5E. Sure, I'm not skipping.
You're not.
The community development block grant. So we discussed this at the February 16th meeting and I didn't seek a motion to have it signed. That was just basically a consensus on it. In the meantime, there's been a lot of correspondence. I spoke with the mayor about it. And then he said he wanted it brought back to council for discussion, not a bad thing. And so, but I feel like in order, if we want to move forward, and I also included it in that packet, was Bill Mulder was kind enough to put this on the table. And then he also, I provided some background history on that grant. And then the deadline is March 4th, which is a couple of days away. And it gave us an opportunity to come back here today and have some discussion about it. Bill, do you want to say anything? It's totally up to you.
No,
All right.
I think you got it.
So you can see the letter that Bill drafted for the mayor to sign, and then you can also see the letter of intent form. And so I don't care, it's council's decision. Open it up.
How many hours it's gonna take to fill out the paperwork for this, or what the odds are of ever getting anything?
At this time, we don't know if we are gonna be obligated to get it. I did get a correspondence from Ashley O'Reilly a long time ago that was gonna take a lot of hours, but then she also sent a correspondence that I did forward saying that we were a community that could potentially be able to receive this grant. Bill, I believe, has volunteered his time so that it wouldn't take staff time. Obviously, there are gonna be some things that Nick or I would, or the city manager would have to do the sign. So, but until we get to that point, I honestly, Mayor, I can tell you, if I AI it, and that's what I spoke with Ashley, if you search it and use an AI, they're gonna tell you a number. That number is only as good as the data that is put in for that. It's AI. I believe that's where she got her numbers. So it could be 500, it could be 100, I don't know. I'll promise you this, Mayor, that before we step into it, I got a call into Mishta, because I like talking to people. I don't like searching stuff on the internet. And so I got a call into Mishta, I haven't got a call back, but if we submit the letter and we are chosen as one of those communities before we sign anything, I will talk to Mishta just to see exactly how much it's gonna take.
Good.
So if I'm understanding, in order to just send in this letter of intent, this is just asking if we can be considered. There's no staff time at this point and no expenditure by the city, correct?
Staff time's already been spent and it's
Okay.
minimal. Actually, the staff time is preparing for the meeting.
Right. Okay.
What was the amount that we were requesting again?
150. Correct.
Okay.
And I spoke with Jeff about it, there are homes in Harbor Springs that would have qualified, and when I read through some of the information that Ashley did put in there, that it looks like that. And when I spoke with Jeff about it, we have like 5 homes that are of poverty level where they even apply for like lesser taxes. So I mean, there are homes in Harbor, some people think that it's all wealthy people here, and it's not necessarily the case. There's people that need help.
And if I recall, when I was looking at the information that Bill Munger supplied, we are only asking for consideration for funds for the homeowner rehabilitation.
Correct. That's
Not
it.
for any of,
No,
anything
that's
else.
it.
Okay. Okay. I thought the letter was fine before, and I like it now. I move we vote to approve sending in this application.
Mr. Mayor, do you have any other questions?
No, I don't.
What I'll do is, and I explained to you, is if we get granted it, I will do a lot of homework. And to make sure that, I know this smells like RRC or something, the government's in our house, and I will make sure that we don't go that route. So, we have a motion, sorry, I interrupted.
I'll second.
Got a motion and I got a second. Excuse me. Jamie Melky,
Yes.
Tom Graham,
Yes.
Kathy Macho,
Yes.
Wendy Reeve,
Yes.
and Jeannie Benjamin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, and I thank Bill for doing the work, because he's been instrumental in getting this, bringing it to my attention and doing the back. Thank you. So move on to 5F, the Corpus Christi processional, public event on city property. The Holy Childhood of Jesus Church is requesting to have this processional on June 7th. They had this similar thing last year. The only thing different between this year and last year was they're requesting the street to be closed because of the participants and just the movement of that event. As far as on the police side, we allowed a similar thing for the tribal last year when they had their procession. And while it's same and different, as far as the police side, I don't have an issue with it. It's June 7th, it's at noon, it's a Sunday. We can take care of business then. It won't be that taxing on our department. So Father Roman, I spoke with him and he's here if you have any questions for him. We good? I just need a motion and support because it's a public event,
What's the date they wanted again?
June 7th at noon.
How long will the roads be closed?
He said at the most, it won't be an hour. I think we can get it in about a half an hour. It's just the person, you saw the route, it's going down, coming down Bay Street, coming up Gardner, and then going back down Main Street to the church. It's not, so it won't take that long. What we will probably do, I'm gonna talk to the officers, either we're gonna, some years in the past, we've like not allowed parking. I've gotta weigh that out, whether we allow parking or not parking, or we just block the streets off while it's going.
I feel like that would be a totally different request if you're blocking off all of the parking as well. I mean, that's a pretty significant portion of downtown, and if you're closing off parking and those streets for an event, how are people going to, I mean, people can still go downtown and they can park and get to Pearson's or wherever they're going, but I think that those kind of things need to be taken into consideration, because we do have businesses downtown that are functioning at that time. And I worry that blocking off the streets, especially that big of a space,
Right.
would deter people from going downtown and spending their money and supporting the local businesses.
On a Sunday at noon, I would not feel comfortable in blocking off Bay Street, like I don't see the need for that. The only thing I would think about is maybe Main Street, just a parking on Main Street, and it would just be for that short period of time. Father, do you know how many people last year participated?
About 150.
So if I was gonna block off anything, if I'm just talking on a cop side, if I was gonna block off anything, it would just be on Main Street from Gardner to State Street. And it would just be, and on Sundays at noon, in June, I don't think the only First Street night, they may be at noon, they'll be open, but there's not that many businesses. Are you guys open at noon on Sunday? So it would affect your business.
I mean, would it be possible for them to go Bay Street to Third Street and back instead of using Main Street so that there's still that corridor? Are there problems with, like, do they have to request to close down on 119 because it's?
No, we do that when you think about all of our, like the Halloween parade, the homecoming parade, the Little League parade. So if anything, we leave the cars parked on the side and we just close it while they turn the corner and go down Gardner. It's just as easy for us because we're not ticketing cars. Are you good with that, Father?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's nice when it's open to the sidewalks and people can look in, but you know, I would just appreciative to have the Main Street.
And we can try it this year and next year if it works with the cars. The next year, if we feel it's the hindrance, then we come back and we say, okay, next year, we're not gonna allow parking. Does that work?
Well, if we allow parking and then we close the street, is your car now trapped there and you're stuck there
For
until
30 minutes.
until the procession passes?
Yeah.
That's the only bad thing about allowing parking is when you don't allow parking, we don't have that issue.
Right.
We don't have like kids coming in between cars just before. That's the nice thing on our end as far as if we don't allow parking, it's a little easier for us. Yeah, we gotta move the cars, but there's not that congestion. But I'll do whatever council says. I'm good with either way. The tribal, when they had theirs, we did not, we closed parking on Main Street. But I'll do whatever you folks,
How long was that for?
same,
Same kind of time, short time period.
yes. And actually, I think that parade, if I remember correctly, might have started here and went all the way down. It did, right? Yeah.
Oh, we like parades.
We have a lot of them. We have a lot of them. So whatever your guys' consensus is. Or we can try it with no parking and see how that goes. Next year, allow parking. It is up to you, Jamie.
Not up to me.
Well, it's up to you guys. I would say blocking off parking on Main Street on a Sunday in June is not gonna be that. Just on Main Street. From Gardner to State Street. Yeah, it's gonna take potentially,
Turkeys is who I think, I mean, that's the busy spot.
not open on Sundays, I don't think.
They have brunch, I think, or they
Yeah.
have breakfast.
Well, they do, okay.
So that's.
Oh, turkeys, I was thinking,
Yeah.
no, yeah, no, I was thinking, no, you're right, yeah.
So I don't know. What if we just go with the black route, and they turn at Spring Street? We'll quicken the walk and we'll have only one part of Main Street will be closed.
Father?
We kind of, I mean, it's a little short of a route. Like there's a sense of we have all the kids out there. We have everyone from the parish walking down, I mean, 2 blocks is a lot nicer than just one on Main Street. It kind of gives that effect of a parade and a procession. So if you make it too short, we're already out there. You know, it kind of takes a little bit out. So I'd prefer to come down or.
We want to make a motion on this one way or the other?
I'll just say, if you haven't ever seen this procession before, I learned it when I studied in Italy, and they shut down 3 miles of parking there. And it's all like they have flowers all over the road. And so we have some of the girls put some petals in front of the church and things like that. It's a really beautiful, wholesome, awesome procession. So just if you've never seen it, I just encourage you to come out and see it. So thank you for your consideration.
I think whatever is the safest route, I think it's just kind of your call on what.
I have no problem with blocking off Main Street, and I will talk to Turkey just because I was thinking of Gurney's. You guys thinking of Gurney's? Yeah, Turkey's is open. So you got Turkey's in your business and maybe Birch Tree in June. If we close it down, it's after Memorial Day. Yeah. If we close
Hungry that time of year.
What's that?
All businesses are hungry that time.
Yeah. If we close it down, if we don't. It's better to close and not allow parking, safety wise. It's a pain for us because we end up ticketing people and trying to move cars. But I feel it's safer when we've had like the Halloween parade, that's all small kids, like, it's a better environment. So my preference would be not to allow parking, but I'm not set on that. And if it creates an issue this year, then I would say then next year we go back to allowing parking.
And that was how it was requested, correct?
They didn't request, the father didn't request parking or no parking. We just need to make a decision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jerry, so.
In general, when someone requests on a application to close Main Street, it's assumed that parking will be closed. To my knowledge, we've never approved closing Main Street and still having parking, besides the school.
Right.
That would be the only exception to that.
Yep.
I move we approve the application and not have the parking for the short time period.
Can I ask one more question? How long does it take?
Second.
Okay. Somebody want a second? Okay. How long does it take you guys to set up no parking signs and then patrol that and then take all of those signs back down?
The DPW has to put this tripods out. We have to post the signs on the tripods. So our posting the signs on the tripods a half an hour, 45 minutes. In that ballpark. And them putting out is probably a half an hour as well, 45 minutes. So you're talking probably a couple hours of city staff time.
Yeah.
And then we have to patrol it. We do not tow cars for that, just so everybody knows. But the only parade that we tow cars for is the 4th of July. So we have a motion, and any other questions?
This is from noon to 1:30 and mass is from 11 to noon.
So we have a 10:30 mass. So 10:30 to 11:30, 11:40, and so we'd be out right after that, like 11:45. We'd be walking, kind of getting ourselves together, and then we'd be basically until 12:30, not 1:30, 12:30.
What if you did it before mass instead of after mass?
So it's kind of the typical way that it's done in all processions is you do it after the mass, because it's it's just how it kind of works for the chronology of the mass. You have the Eucharist, and then you have to make the Eucharist to process with.
All good questions. We have a motion and support. We do? Yeah. Kathy made a motion, Tom supported. We can stay here for the next 20 minutes. Any other discussion?
And remember.
Motion, second, Wendy Reeve.
Why did you pick me for?
I was like, I can flop it around.
Yes.
Jamie Melky.
Yes.
Tom Graham. Yeah.
Kathy Macho,
Yes,
Lee Benjamin,
Yes.
motion carried.
And I will keep my ears open. If we get complaints about it, then I will be the first one to come to you and say, next year we can't do this. All right?
fair enough.
Thank you.
Thanks, Father, for being here. Thank you.
I think that, sorry, but I think that the most important thing is that the public knows when like the streets downtown are closed, because I was downtown last year when it was happening and there were a lot of people that were like, what's going on? Why is the street blocked off? And so just like making sure that the public knows that that's happening and they can plan accordingly
Okay.
is
And what-
important.
I'll try my best to put that alert out. That's,
Yeah.
I'm not trying
Oh,
to
great.
do that alert. That will let everybody know. And actually for the, and I've got to do it more often for the car show. I have that tripod, or I have the solvers, and I put the sign up on it, that white
Yeah.
paperboard, and that actually helps us a lot. So I'll try to get that up at both ends to let people know, Main Street's gonna be closed, and that is a good reminder. Sometimes with the tripods, people don't see them because they get parked next to.
Thank you.
Could we add it to the city calendar?
Yes.
If the
Our-
street is going to be closed on this date.
Or
from
it's
this time
just-
to
We
this
just put
time.
on our Facebook post. We will
Blast.
do that. I'll make sure that it's on the police department, and then Tina and Emily are good about copying. That's a good point.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody do that? All right, move on to 5G, substation material quote selection. Basically, the substation's moving along. We're purchasing more materials, but per our purchase and procurement policy, we have to approve, council has to approve these purchases. You can see Verdantis has provided us the information with who they recommend for the bids. That's all I have. I trust them. And on a positive note, Nick, Huey, and I just meet with them weekly on a Zoom call to make sure that it's foreign for all of us. And I think I spoke last, even their persons is gone. So we're in communication a lot about what's going on. I'm not saying there's not like mishaps or something, but we all, Nick and Huey, get on the Zoom call. If I'm around, I get on it to try to make sure we're up to date and we're moving forward. Nick, anything else?
One thing that I would point out, maybe just because it's such a significant difference is,
Panel bill.
right. This is a company that this is what they do, and they have these panel built stuff in stock. They don't have to.
So they have a
construct it,
leg up on all their competition.
Pretty much,
Which
yes.
one are you talking about?
The,
Control house,
Oh,
high bid of
it's
$256.
$100,000 less,
and yeah, I know.
and it's the shortest lead time.
Yeah.
But your explanation makes a lot of sense.
Because I questioned that.
Yeah.
What am I best here?
Okay, okay. So, because they're all, I guess my question's really not questioning the bid as much as at least one of these items, the lead time is 66 weeks.
15 and a half months.
Yeah.
So,
It's a budgeting nightmare right now, because we are talking.
it's done this year or whenever,
What
I
the-
mean, I'm concerned about the time, that's.
What the last discussion we had was, we're trying to organize a timeline schedule based on some of these long lead times. And then back the train up and do the ones that we have the materials or are shorter lead times, so maybe we did some wiring stuff. And then if we had to wait for steel to build the actual substation, then we would just build the substation when that stuff is arrived and plug it in basically. I mean,
So
not a.
Okay, you can work that timing out.
That's what we're working. That's the biggest part of our discussions is what are we doing here and how long is it gonna take?
Do you know where we're at as far as like, we've accepted a lot of bids? How many more bids do we have? Like, are we,
That's another question. I think Thursday we're gonna have an update because if you'll remember when we've been looking at these. And I've been waiting for the hammer to drop because I'm like, all right, 140 grand, 240. It adds up, but we're nowhere near $8 million.
right?
So there's something coming and I wanna know what it is. when it-
Yeah.
When it's getting here, so.
would like to know, like, are we 50% through the material process or are we 75%? Like, that's kind of like, obviously they have a checklist of some sort that says this is everything we need. Where are we
Yes.
at?
Yes, and that's what I want them to present
Okay.
to us.
And on that last page, you see the last page of that handout where it says, City of Harbor Springs, White Road substation owner furnished material values. Like that's sort of a checklist and we're gonna confirm that as far as what we still need to purchase. So that's what we've talked about. And I agree, like how much do we still gotta borrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and one good thing about this going on a little bit longer than what I had anticipated.
Yeah.
Some of these things that are a little smaller dollar amounts, if we can absorb them without putting the electric fund under pressure.
Yeah.
Financially, I don't wanna borrow any more money than absolutely
That's awesome.
necessary.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I don't wanna have to write a check for $2.5 million next week
Yeah.
and not have my bond money, so.
So this is $450,000. So you're saying that the total on this last spreadsheet, Kyle, is $1.1 million. So 450 of that would be spent, but then the rest of this we're still anticipating is in the equipment, is that?
Yes, and there's, to make it even more complicated, a lot of these things are 10% down. And then
Okay, sure.
30% when they build it or whatever the heck they're doing. And then the balance at delivery in 66 weeks, so.
Are the other items that are on here, items that are out for bid and you just don't have the? Or
No, I
they
think
haven't
that
gone
list
out
that
to
you've
bid?
got there so far.
I'm just curious, just in general, I don't need to
That
know
one
line
that
by
have always
line.
been on it.
Yeah, I believe so.
What?
Some of this stuff is I believe the stuff that's on this list is the stuff that we purchased.
We've already purchased.
We've approved. Yeah,
Approved,
we
okay.
approved, because some of these things I see on here. That's why even though you look at 55 weeks and it's, well, a lot of this is all gonna come all at one time, 50 weeks.
Okay.
So I don't want to make light of the $40,000 price difference between the two, but is it more important to have it here in 2 months than in 15 months?
Well, and that was a question because I'm like, all right, if we can spend an additional X. And have it here when it's needed, when everything else is here. And the answer was, no, whatever this may be, this will come into play,
We can wait for it.
correct?
Good question.
Yeah.
We're trusting Bernantes because they're sort of putting this puzzle together as we're moving.
But at least now we're able to see what's front of the box, what the
Yes.
puzzle's supposed to look like.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Any other question?
I move that we approve the purchases for the substation as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, since we're talking big bucks again, Tom Graham.
Yes.
David Melky.
Yes.
Jeannie Benjamin.
Yes.
Wendy Reeve
Yes.
and Kathy Macho.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I want to make sure I get text periodically about something not working. I want to make sure. So that's it as far as our agenda items. For the city manager's report, there's a few things. Number one, as predicted, things continue to break and our furnace for this room, the control circuit went on the fridge, so we're getting a quote to replace that. Could be very expensive. So the furnace is 20-some years old. Good. So it's like, it just keeps coming. But I'll have the quotes just to sort of lay the groundwork for that. Rachel just texted me, she had to leave because she had some work to do with dog sitter issues. She's been working all day. So, but I worked this weekend on putting together that description, and Danny brought it up about the Parks and Recs position. And I spoke with you earlier about having that a combined position as far as assistant to the city manager and Parks and Recs. I still would like to pursue that. People are saying, well, why don't we wait till we get a new city manager? My concern with that is she's done March 31st. And we won't have a new city manager probably by then. And so I strongly feel that that is a position, both, I think we need a parks director, do we need a full-time parks director? Maybe not, there's work there to be done, but we gotta be careful on how we spend our money. And the other side is, I think that we need an assistant to the city manager. I think that that's an important position as well. So I think it sounds, and I said this weekend at McDonald's, talking to my wife about how that's a unique position to mold together. But hopefully the right person will come forward and we can move forward with that. I just want to let you know, I'm still working on that. I've been busy, but I'm like, I told myself this weekend, I gotta get to that. I gotta get that posting out. I looked at a previous posting that the city had for assistant to the city manager. And I looked at the previous position that Victor put together for Parks and Rec director, and there's like 100 bullet points between the two of them. I'm like, I can't have that much. So I'm just trying to combine those and get that job description out, get it posted. So, and then on a positive note too, is today our new IT company started. They came through the city hall and looked at every computer, went to the police department, labeled everything, installed some software program. I'm excited. We're a step in the right direction. So they have taken over the police or the city hall. The police department is still working with BC3 to terminate their contract because they got to relinquish some stuff. I was on the phone today with their guy Jack Hastings is excellent. I mean, he did a good job, but I understand why Common Angle wants to take control. It's just not going to be there's nobody here. Basically, Bill's done a great job. Bill came in today and did it, met with with Common Angle to try to help that process, but it's a good thing. I appreciate the support on that. The Lake girls are excited. It's gonna take care of some of our computer issues, so. And I think that's all I have. Things are going well, city.
Did you get your label maker?
Yeah, but I know they're well aware.
But no, things are going well here. Staff, we meet every Tuesday at 9 o'clock to discuss things. Nick's really helping me out. And so I think things are going well. Any questions?
Can we have an official report on the ice storm rebate?
Yep, the official thing is, and we talked about it earlier, is that the FEMA program has a login that I gotta get permission to do. And by the next council meeting, I will have that, so I will know where we stand. I'll make sure that happens. Because just, I explained it earlier, you folks weren't here, like our email blaster, the constant contacts, I was on the phone for an hour and a half trying to get that from Victor to myself. They want to know everything with my kids' names and all that stuff. It's like, it's just, they want to know everything before they release it. And it's the same thing. I do have an email into FEMA. It's just a matter of getting me the credentials in order to get in there to see where we're at. I will have that by the March 16th meeting.
For the limited, just to throw in that real quick, the limited emails that we do get that we're copied on. That would, that are going to Kyle. That's in progress. I mean, they're not sent us a nasty-gram saying you're not getting anything, peace out. And now it's just a matter of going in there and seeing what it is that they're trying to tell us.
And if I do hear anything prior to the next meeting, I will definitely forward it on to you.
I already heard this. I just wanted it for the citizens.
Yeah, no, I just important. Yeah, we're still working on it, yes. Anything else?
Can you maybe work with Frank? I'm guessing that people might have vacations. Council might have vacations planned in April because we don't generally meet at the beginning of April. Can you touch base with Frank and just see if there's a tentative timeline of, we're gonna do the interviews on March 14th, but is there a chance we're gonna have to do something else? Just so that we all know to plan our vacations, or we can coordinate special meetings or whatever we need to do.
That's a shell game a little bit, because it's gonna be up to you guys whether you want to have second interviews. If we don't have if you choose somebody March 14th and we walk out of here and you contact a person on March 15th or 16th, the Monday, those negotiations, we might be done. We won't have anything by March 16th, but we could easily have them done by the end of March. But if we want to have a second interview, plus he has to do the background check, I will talk to him.
Yeah, I just think a tentative, I just want to make sure if we're gonna do second round that I'm not planning a vacation
I know,
potentially when that could happen, or maybe we just need to coordinate with you and tell you when
yeah, if
you're
you,
looking to be
if you
gone.
send me an email when you're gonna be gone, that way I will make sure, I think it's very important that all 5 of you are here.
Yeah.
And so, because I will just, what I'll do is I'll make sure that if you give me your dates you're gone in an email, then I will make sure we don't do anything during that time.
Okay.
Because that's gonna depend on how we are on the 14th, what we decide, if
Yeah.
we need a second interview or where we're at.
Okay.
So, does that make sense? Does that, yeah, and I'll just make sure, I'll talk to Frank, I'm gonna talk to Frank when we're done tonight, because I gotta let him know that you guys approved the numbers. So I will run that by him, but if you give me the dates,
Okay.
I will make sure that we will not do anything during that time.
Okay.
And I would appreciate it in the email, just so that way I got it ready and not off my memory. That's a good point. Any other questions? Mr. Mayor?
No.
Boards and
Boards
commissions.
and commission. May go to any meetings.
Planning commission 2 weeks ago, I don't know. Since our last meeting, I think, and we went over plan development, and that stayed the way it was written, and questions about Bluff Garden and 13 roads and permits have been pulled through the county. And I think that was all. I think.
Thank you.
There was a tree board meeting since the last meeting. And we discussed plans for the year, what things we might want to do, working on plans, priorities. We have Arbor Fest set for, I'm sorry, Dana, what was the date?
May 23rd, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's May 23rd.
Will be Arbor Fest, and that will be at Soren.
Upper Zorn.
Right, and I don't know, there may be, we haven't figured out all the games and stuff that'll be done. But I think hot dogs are a possibility.
Yep. Hopefully the mayor will cook for us again.
I can handle it.
Mayor?
This is, you have any meetings?
I didn't go, no.
Okay, move on. Any new or old business anybody want to discuss?
I would ask, and I'm not sure who the appropriate, where this should start. I got a letter from Doug Fuller, who is with Harboring, on the Harboring board. I think you were also
Yes, I am.
copied, Kyle, and wanted to just see where the city was in terms of.
This spillway into a bike path.
Exactly. And so it was basically just an inquiry, didn't want it to be forgotten. And wanted to know what the, is this a Parks Board thing?
Kind of.
Yes, it would be,
Kind of is,
because it's gonna involve fundraising.
it is. And that's part of the
There
concern.
is a little bit of money, I think, already.
They have raised, and that's, he
Yeah.
mentioned that in here.
I think that the biggest concern about timing is that Emmett County approved of the path, but there's a deadline of when we have to complete that portion before we would have to go back to the county to get approval again.
And all of this isn't necessarily in this, so I feel like this is a very long and a good letter. I feel like we need to respond somehow, and I'm not sure who should be the person to.
What I will do is I will put that on the March 16th agenda just for a discussion item.
Okay.
And then we can have a discussion about it. I will forward that letter to everybody.
Okay.
So then we can discuss it and then create a response based on that discussion.
Got it.
All right. And then speaking of that, it reminded me that I did reach out to the Petoskey Harbor Community Foundation, DJ over there, just about the boardwalk. He told me that $10,000 will not necessarily buy somebody to do all the fundraising and go out and solicit it. That would basically be somebody to oversee it. I still have to get a hold of the HKM. I got one call to them, but that's just to update you on where that is. I didn't go meet with, I think his name is DJ over there. Yeah. And just about that and see where we were at with that. And I did speak after that last meeting with both of the donors that were concerned. They're 100% good with where we're at.
Thank you.
That it?
Yeah.
That's good.
Great meeting. Thanks for everybody coming.
Let's be adjourned then.
Thank you. Binder. Bring it back. Right. No idea.
Bill, thank you.
It can't be important. It's not important. I know, I have 30 minutes before I have to be in line. Yes. It went down like 11. Yeah. President got out of the fucking.